Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Shafi of 4th B Pharmacy, and I am going to share the profile of Dr. Mishra. Dr. Mishra is an IIT BHU alumnus and PhD in Life Sciences from CSIR with over a decade of experiences in translational research and incubation ecosystem. She is currently the head of technology incubation at KIIT Technology Business Incubator, Bhubaneswar, where she is actively involved in promoting technology-driven innovations. She coordinates with various ministries like BIRAC, DST, MEETI, Startup Odisha, Startup India, and Invest India for successful implementation of various startup schemes from ideation to commercialization. She also liaises with industry and academia, organizes capacity building programs, and conducts mentorship exercises for startup and incubation managers. Dr. Mishra has also been a catalyst in augmenting innovation ecosystem, especially East and Northeast, by being an active member of the BIRAC Regional Center at KIT TBI, focusing on East and Northeast states of India, Technology Enabling Center at KIT University, supported by DST and Bhubaneswar City Knowledge Innovation Cluster, supported by PSA Government of India. Besides being head technology incubation at KIT TBI, Dr. Mishra is assistant professor in the Department of Biotechnology, KIT University. Her research and teaching interests includes study of vital metabolic pathways in depth sequence structural analysis of underpinning enzymes to decipher the molecular mechanism of important biological process in the host. In this context, she has published more than 50 international journal publications. She has also developed several cutting-edge computation tools, databases, and web servers which have been widely used by the scientific community and have been published in international journals of repute. She is also the editor of 2 scientific books and the principal investigator of 2 research grants. Currently, one doctorate student has completed his research under her supervision, and more than 5 doctorate students are pursuing PhD in life sciences under her supervision. Several master's students have carried out their dissertation project work under her leadership. She has been given the prestigious Odisha Youngest Scientist Award 2020 by Science and Technology Department of Government of Odisha. Thank you.
Okay, madam. You can continue. We'll start the session, madam.
Very good afternoon, everyone. And yeah, thank you so much for your warm introduction and happy Dussehra to all in advance. My sincere thanks to Principal Sir Dr. Babu of Vignan Pharmacy College for giving me this opportunity to interact with young minds. And of course, Dr. Rajaram, he has been coordinating with me since a long time to conduct this meeting. I'm really happy that this we could schedule a time, and we are now today we'll be discussing about the topic that is role of technology business incubator and business grant writing. So if you closely observe the title itself, it has 2 important components that is very, very pertinent to today's scenario about startup, about Make in India initiative. So that's what we'll be discussing about what is the role of business incubators which promote these startups and how to get funding through writing a very, very successful, promising grant proposal. So that's what we'll be discussing. I'll just share my screen. I would request Dr. Rajaram, if you give me the sharing option. If you stop sharing the slide, maybe then only I can share.
Okay, madam, you can start sharing, madam.
No, I'm not able to share because the other participant is sharing. So I see this banner up on screen, right? You have to give me the access.
Okay, madam. Now you can share, ma'am. We made you host, so you can share now.
No, it is still showing that this will stop other screen sharing. Do you want to continue? Okay, let me see.
We made you host, ma'am, so that you can share. Once, try it once again.
Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am, it is visible.
Perfect. So this is what we'll be discussing today. Without much ado, let me begin my presentation. So I'm sure coming to the view, all are aware of this word startup. Okay, it is a new buzz of not only India but across the globe. Every day we hear of a startup story. Every week, a potential unicorn is unraveled. And in spite of the regulatory and scale-up challenges, even in the COVID time, a lot of startups have been registered. And particularly the flagship program of Indian government, that is Make in India, it has completely infused the entire country with the new spirit and zeal, to bring innovative products and support innovation across the entire chain of value product development, from ideation to proof of concept to validation to scale and commercialization. Now, if you see the Indian biotech landscape, it has grown more than 7 folds in the last decade. And startup grown, they have 100 folds, and BIRAC incubators almost 10-fold. See, if you see the statistic, it is very, very overwhelming. And in this course, the average wages for total employees have again increased by almost 4.72% annually. And if the income growth remains the same and there's 60 times increase in job creation in the biotech sector, I'm sure it would take an annual generation of income from $61 million to $4.46 billion in 2025. That is what is the target. That is the strength of Indian biotech industry that we have. So now you'll be very happy to see that the biotech startups have grown annually at 38.1% CAGR over last 7 years. Year-on-year growth of startups peaking in 2017. If you see from 2017, there's almost 69.5% growth. Even during the pandemic year for the past 3 years, almost 800. Yes.
Madam, please raise your voice because there is some fluctuation. So that keep mic closer. Keep mic closer.
Okay.
So that.
Okay. Is it better now?
Yes, madam. Because there is fluctuations up and down. In that
yeah, it is also raining here heavily.
Yes, madam.
So that's what I'm saying, that even during the pandemic years, almost 800 plus new startups have been added in the year 2020 and 2021. So we always say that biotech startups is difficult when it comes to getting fundraised or getting investment appetite. But that's not the scenario right now. If you see, the Indian startup ecosystem is scaling up, and these are the total the new startups which have been registered in 9 months from 2021, almost 6. Like you see in every state, how many the number indicates the startups which have been registered in the last 1 year, and these are the top performing states which are really promoting innovation and entrepreneurship. So all we can say that the startup ecosystem has seen a boost in the past 5 years, with the number of startups in India consistently rising from 2015 to 2021. And of course, Maharashtra has the highest number of registration in India, followed by other states like Karnataka, Delhi, Telangana, and Tamil Nadu. But I would again want to bring to your notice that today the startup buzz is not only of the bigger cities like Hyderabad, Maharashtra, or Delhi, Telangana. Now, smaller cities like the tier 2 cities, Odisha, Eastern region, and the northeastern states are also coming up. The startup mojo is very soon, it is rapidly catching up. There are many entrepreneurs from the Eastern and Northeastern region who really want to create their own niche in the startup ecosystem. So if you see the BIRAC, which is one of the important, has been a very strong instrumental in uplifting the biotech ecosystem pan-India. If you see the BioNest network, you will be surprised to see how many incubators have they supported. Almost 60 BioNest incubators have been supported. Almost, it is not about only setting up the incubators or providing them incubation space, but BIRAC also supports in terms of the capacity building workshops, supporting innovations, conducting a lot of startup grant programs, BIG being one of the flagship program for promoting biotech innovations. So similarly, you can see in the India map, the clusters of incubators who are there supporting innovation entrepreneurship, and they are working in a cluster mode. For example, if you see in the eastern region and northeastern region, KTVI is leading, and it is acting as a hub, as a hub and spoke model. It is partnering with all other established bio incubators and to promote innovation and entrepreneurship in eastern and northeastern region. Similarly, IIT Delhi is leading for Punjab University, for Delhi, for RCB Faridabad. So that's how, because now we have realized that biotech cannot be done in silos. All the institutes, intra-institutes, department, inter-institute, all have to partner, have to collaborate and come together for one mission, that is to make in India, Startup India. We have to come together to make Atmanirbhar Bharat. That's only it is possible. So if you see the aspiring entrepreneurs, as I said, it is spread across the nation. It is not only in the major cities. Almost, if you see, if I give you an example of the biotechnology ignition grant, which is one of the most sought after grant for any early stage innovation, biotech innovation, there are almost 7,367 applications have been received pan-India. So, of course, this BIRAC, as I said earlier, has been very instrumental in inculcating a culture of biotech entrepreneurship and igniting the young minds to take up startups and entrepreneurship as a serious, viable career option. Because if you see 10 years down the line, students, young graduates, they only thought of higher studies, be it PhD or postdoctorate or for jobs. But there were not much of appetite among students for entrepreneurship or for creating new businesses or new ventures. They thought that that is not for the scientific community, right? The moment the word business comes, they think that it is only for it's a vehicle to make money. But with the Honorable Prime Minister vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat, Make in India, they understood that it is not only about money, it is about indigenous of technology, developing own India's products and technologies, which will not only improve the economy of the nation, but also would improve the social and the livelihood of people. And that is where we say that it is not only, again, the men who have been leading this ecosystem. Now we see a lot of women who are really shattering the glass ceilings, and they are now taking entrepreneurship as a serious businesses. We have seen for the past couple of years, women-led startups, the number is increasing. And it is not only in the IT sector, but we are seeing women leading in the STEM field. So if you see the sector of various biotechnology, then of course, device and diagnostics is a major portion that covers all the innovations. But of course, there are also innovations and startups of technologies happening in healthcare sector, in vaccines, in biosimilars, in agriculture, in drug delivery, industrial biotechnology, which include both your food technology, your nutraceuticals, your scale-up process, your waste to value, your clean tech, all comes under your industrial biotechnology. So if you see the percentage of patents emanated, that corroborates the science that we Indians are working upon has value, has innovative component. So over the time, the percentage of total startups, the percentage of female incubators, be it in terms of raising funding, be it in terms of startups moving out of the country, there's always progression. we are seeing an exponential rise. So, of course, I would say the time is ripe enough to be an entrepreneur, to think of starting your own business. Now, if you look into the major source of innovation, then of course there are three major sources. As you can see in the slide, they are academia, just like the Vignan Pharmacy College, which is of course is the nucleus of any scientific discovery. Then there are innovations happening, emanating from the startups, which tries to translate the R&D discoveries from universities, from academia, into some novel productive process with the, of course, the support of incubator, with the support of stakeholders, and most important again, which we generally ignore, is a social impactful grassroots level innovations that may not be that scientifically tech oriented, but they of course cater to the grassroots level problem challenges. They are generally the primarily need driven businesses. But the challenge is in the present complex and competitive landscape, innovators and entrepreneurs, they need more structure and fundamental support to carve their niche in the startup ecosystem. Of course, the Startup India, the ambitious program launched by the Honorable Prime Minister, it has brought a lot of positivity among the Indian entrepreneurs with so much of funds allocated to support the startups. However, I think it is certain that the young innovators, startups, they just do not require fund to move ahead in their product development journey. They need a lot more. They need training, they need hand-holding, they need the connection to the right stakeholders, be it mentors, be it patent agents, be it your business investments, be it your connecting to the market. So all these ingredients, the requirements are very, very essential for a young startup or a young innovator who is just jumping into taking the first nimble step into the part of entrepreneurship or product development. So coming to questionless, we have heard a lot about now technology business incubator. I think now almost all universities and institutes, they encourage setting up a TBI or an entrepreneurship cell within the university or the college or the institute. So what exactly is a TBI? I'm sure a lot of students who are present today must be wondering, what is an incubator? What is TBI? We have heard about so much. Is it an organization? Is it something that gives some course or certificate? Or what is exactly a TBI? So if I have to explain in a layman language, it is basically a place where technology-driven ideas, they are nurtured to make businesses. A place where your idea are given the right ingredients, are given the right support so that it moves from lab to market and then you have your own startup. So what is exactly a business, right? Business is money. Right? To make money, what exactly you need? You need a seller who has something, a product to sell, and a buyer who has the investment, the funds to buy the product. So this is exactly what a TBI does. It brings the two stakeholders together on one platform. For example, a technologist who is basically could be a faculty, a student, a scientist that has an innovative idea, and an entrepreneur who want to team up with the technologies and has the business acumen, want to work together with the technologies and to take it forward. And of course, an investor who has the funds, who have the money to support the entire exercise, to support the product development. Incubator now brings all them together in one platform. So there's a misconception that incubator generally only provides space, okay? But beside co-working space, incubator provides a wide array of services to help startups and innovators which is including your access to instruments at a very nominal charge, funding support, access to strong network pool of mentors, investors, and most importantly, it helps the startups to think through. Because during the mentoring sessions, during the hand-holding process, the incubator would give you a very clear scenario of the market requirements. We'll ask you a couple of questions which you generally as an innovator, as a technologist would ignore. And this is something becomes the common failure for any tech-driven startup, because we focus more on the technology, but we generally neglect the business side. But the business and the technology have to come together, have to parallelly happen all along. That is only would define the fate of any biotech startup. So it's not only about the technology readiness level, it is about the business readiness level. TRL and BRL have to come together. You have to give them equal importance to see that the ideas, they are moving from your lab side to moving to proof of concept, to your early stage commercialization, late stage commercialization, validation, and of course to the market. So more than just space, and TBI, a technology business incubator, provides the infinite opportunities support system to the startups. Now, if you see how TBI is supporting innovations and startup in detail, first is infrastructure for prototyping. One of the major challenge that early stage startups face is access to infrastructure with various equipments and technologies like sensor, prototyping lab. And these equipments are actually very costly, and it is sometimes becomes unaffordable for an early stage startup to buy everything and to set up a lab. So that is where the incubator comes in picture, because even though a young student who has graduated from an institute might not have that access to use the institute facilities, because all these are equipments and consumables are expensive, but you can reach out to incubator, and you as incubating, you can leverage the facilities, the analytical facilities, the prototyping lab to try out your ideation to proof of concept. Similarly, another important requirement is input procurement, be it raw materials, chemicals, peptides. These are very, very costly, right? It's not that easy. You need a lot of funds for it. So these all things can be made easy with the support of the TBI. Of course, fundraising is something important. How good your idea head is, how good your team is. If you don't have funding, all your hands are tied up. So funding is certainly very essential to move to the next level, to translate your ideas to reality. You need money, right? You need money to buy equipment, you need money to hire your manpower, you need money for consumer, all these things. Again, incubator has a plethora of funding opportunities from various ministries, be it from the ideation to proof of concept to commercial, a different level of technologies. There are different schemes, which again, I'll be discussing maybe shortly. But yes, fundraising is something which cannot be ignored, and incubator provides that support. Then again, access to mentors, access to IP, access to industry, so that you can also avail the leverage the scope of technology licensing to the potential customers, be it exclusive, be it non-exclusive. So there are a lot of technology transfer offices now housed within the TBI who helps you to get such kind of your product to market to commercialization. So again, networking is very, very important. How good your idea is if you are not with the right people. Just for example, today we are conducting this session because of Dr. Rajaraman, who contacted me. Let's do this session. There are a lot of students who are really doing good, but they are not aware of the funding opportunities. They are not aware of how to write a grant proposal, because there are a lot of faculties who really have some innovative ideas even for the student, but they don't know how to go ahead. So this could happen because he knew that, okay, there is somebody who can give this hand-holding to the students. So networking, it is very essential when it is not only about research in your four-walled room, but you have to move out of your four-wall room. You have to build your own team. You have to talk to your supervisors, come together and do this networking. So many times I get this question that how does the incubator work, right? How does it actually function? Does anybody go there and then you evaluate? How does it actually happens? So it's very simple that if you have to support anyone, you have to understand the problem statement. And that is what TBI does. At the first interaction, when there's any young student or young innovator or startups who approaches TBI, the TBI first will understand that what exactly is a startup, at what stage the technology is, what is the risk or challenges which are faced by the startups. Okay, and because there are different risks for a biotech startup at different phases of startup journey, because at the initiation and research phase, they're basically looking for idea validation, whether the idea has a market potential or not, whether it is technologically feasible, commercialization potential or not. When that idea validation is done and you start working, you start building on a product, you need funds for it. Okay, so when your product is built, your proof of concept is built, again, you need support in terms of validation, you need support in terms of commercializing and scaling up. So, and then finally, of course, the scale up and growth up, right? So incubator takes a decision like what stage the technology is, and then will exactly do a matchmaking of the requirement and will connect you to the right people, right mentors, and help you in that requirement. So as I said that nothing can be done in silos. In order to adequately support the startups, the incubator develop partnership with other ecosystem players. So yes, government, investors, sponsors, a lot of industry bodies, entrepreneurs, other incubators, all they work together in one holistic 360-degree approach, that is with a unified mission, that is to support startups. That is very, very important. But we all discuss about, okay, fine, incubator is important. Now we have this ecosystem which can support us, but we have also an idea, but what about funding? Because how good the idea is, how good the problem statement is, you need funds, right? For everything, you need funds for it. So the question is where to get the funding. So remember, the grant doesn't happen by chance. It will never happen that you'll get a call one day that, yes, Dr. Namrata, you are the lucky caller of this week and you received a grant of 50 lakhs. It doesn't happen like this. It never happens by chance. You have to put a lot of effort. You have to write a grant proposal. And then only this success happens, right? If you see, I always give you this example of an iceberg illusion, because what we see, the iceberg tip is just the success, right? But the 90% is the hard work, the dedication, the persistence, your time, all effort, your bad times, your good time, your failure, your sacrifice, all that is there is invisible. So it is very, very important that when you write a grant proposal, it is very evident that all your hard work, all your commitment should get reflected, and that would dictate your success. Remember, grant writing grant is just not an idea. It's about a strategy. It's about the planning. If you plan properly, if you execute it, then of course you control the decision. You are the one that would control the decision. So now coming to the second part of my topic, that was the grant writing. Okay, how to write a very strong business grant proposal. See, there are a plethora of funding opportunities. You name it, anything, BIRAC, DBT, DST, all of these schemes, they have tons of funding opportunities. Starting from the Prayas grant of 7 lakhs to 10 lakhs to 50 lakhs to 1 crore, you can get funding. But it is very important to understand that how to write a good grant proposal, right? So that is what now I'll be discussing about. If you see, there are the major 12 points that you need to focus upon. Of course, as you apply to different ministry, based on the different scope of the grant, you have to tailor-made your application, but on a wholesome, in a holistic way, these are the major points of any innovative grant application. Now, coming to the first point, that think of a catchy title, which is simple, which is crispy, which is easy to remember, and include all the keywords that define the project and highlight the USP. Because based on the title, the reviewers are assigned. So if the subject of your application is not very clear, then it may end up to a reviewer whose domain or expertise doesn't match the application, right? So your title should be very clear, right? If somebody reads a title, it becomes very clear like what exactly you are trying to propose. And your title should highlight the advantages and USP of the solution. For example, you can write a title like I'm developing a biodegradable novel, first of a kind wound healing patch that is 1/10 of the cost of the similar products that are there in the market. So that gives the USP that is biodegradable, it is very affordable, it has a higher efficiency, higher specificity, all these things. And please, I would request to ignore the logos present in the slide. These are the slides from my early presentations, so kindly ignore that. Now, after proposal title, there comes is a proposal summary, and this is just like the abstract of any research publication. It should be in a standalone format in the form of storyline, right? Start from the background about the problem statement and moving to the approach, moving to the methodology, and then the outcome, the result that might come. So you have to very well justify that there is an unmet need which needs to be solved. Do not, I have seen many times, say the innovator or the applicant, they try to make the problem sound too ambitious or too big. They think that that will become more impactful, but that generally doesn't happen, right? You have to make the problem like it is doable, it is feasible, it can be solved. And so, for example, if you are developing a diagnosis kit for detection of cancer, you should not talk about cancer statistic, like how prevalent is the cancer, because that is quite evident. The people are aware of it. But rather, you focus on the gap in the current solution, the current treatment for cancer. What is the negative lacuna or the challenges that the patient faces, that doctor faces, and how your intervention, how your solution would be a better in terms of the technologies that is now being used for the cancer diagnosis. That's very important. So it should not happen that you prepare the hammer and then you look for nail. Okay, that means that you should not build the product and then look for the consumables or the buyers. In my mentoring session, I always ask starters if they have tested the product with the customer, with the consumer. I often find that people, they build the product solution as a result of their own pain point. However, the pain point has not been validated enough with the users or consumers. So it is very, very essential that you have to build with your consumers, you have to test with your end users, you have to iterate, you have to refine as per their feedback, and then customers will come. generally people, they think that first I'll develop the product and then of course I'll look for the end users. And you see there is a long gap in the need and the solution. So it is very important that you need to ask yourself that, yes, what I am developing, the product, whether there is a customer, they are willing to pay for it, they are willing to utilize it, whether there are customers, whether there is a good market of customers who will utilize my product or not. All these questions have to be put forth and have to be emphasized upon. And again, it is very, very important to come down to timing. That why is the right time to build the business? What has triggered the need, right? If you develop something on COVID, I think today the time is not for the indigenous of the COVID platform, because had it been 2 years, 3 years before, yes, people were looking for new COVID interventions. But now I think a lot of discoveries, a lot of improvements has happened. So COVID is not the hot topic. So you have to understand what exactly is the current need of the market. And again, you have to understand the impact of your product. So does it have the potential to unleash change, or is just an incremental benefit? If you want to disrupt a large existing market, your strategy should be to develop superior products, at least along one dimension that matters to customers. So whether it is in terms of cost, in terms of better performance or better market reach. So you have to see that, yes, there is a need and there is a customer for it. I think that often entrepreneurs, they don't think deeply enough about their customer persona and the problem. I always ask that please have a very thorough need identification, talk to customer, talk to people, understand what is exactly they're looking for, what is their pain points. That will help you to shape your solution. And of course, current alternatives. That is very, very important. What is there in the market which is being used to solve this problem? Remember, the screening committee expects that the applicant should have a very in-depth understanding of the market and who are the players in the industry, who are your direct, indirect competitors, what is the lacuna, why they have failed, why they have failed, how is your solution has an advantage over those existing products, similar technologies that are there in public or in the market. So all these important, so it is not only about the alternatives not sufficient, you have to also articulate how the market conditions are different now and how you are tackling these challenges in a different way. So remember, problem in the current solution is always an opportunity for an innovator. So after your problem statement is defined, then comes your talk about your solution. You talk about what exactly is your innovation, exactly how does it work. If you have any visuals of your final product, put that in your presentation and try to explain in detail that this is the innovation, this is the difference, this is the distinct difference between the new innovation that we're proposing and the prior are the alternative solutions that are there. Okay, which includes like advantages, superior attributes like better performance, low cost, faster, more efficient, more effective, more user-friendly. Okay, it can be used in the rural community. And then finally, how these attributes are translating into economic and cost benefit, and quantify as much as possible. Then come your technical details slide, underpinning technology working principle. Here you have to explain how is exactly your technology is working. Again, you have to speak about your product works, the features, what exactly is the USPs of the product, and how they are all assembled together and it's working. Exactly, you have to make them more understand about the working principle. I've seen many times people, they give more importance to technology or they give more importance to the business side. because if you talk about the business and there are a committee who also technical people and they ask you technical questions and you could not answer, that might act a negative for you. So you have to keep strike a balance between the technology and the business level. Then again, the preliminary supporting evidences, these are basically a data to support your technical and commercial viability or feasibility of innovation. But you should be again very clear exactly at what stage your technology is. Is it in proof of concept, or you have done some kind of testing or validated in a lab scale or in a pilot scale, or it is now ready, you have completed all the regulatory compliances, all the ethical clearance, everything, all the compliances has been done and it is now put in the GEM portal and it's ready for deployment, at what level it is. So that is what is you have to be very clear, because that will give you an understanding that yes, today I am in technology level maybe 1, like it's just an ideation, but with this grant, I'll be able to have some proof of concept of that my idea is working, my technology is stable. Or if you are at the POC level, then you might apply for grants at the early stage validation or commercialization. So, and based on your TRL level, you should have your backup supporting, evidence supporting results for it also. Then comes your proposal components novelty. So these are basically about what is the key differentiator feature of your product or service. If your idea is to develop a platform technology, that means that it has usage into other product services. It can be integrated into some existing or the new products. That will widen your market horizon, right? Intellectual property, again, it is very important that whether your innovation, whether your technology, your proposal has a very innovative novelty component and which has a scope for patent filing, be it design patent, be it a product patent or process patent, that you have to say. And if you have already filed a patent, please give the details and indicate that who owns it, right? So that should be clearly, and if again you have a scope for further patent filing, that should be clearly reflected. Then comes your value proposition. Value proposition, you as a grant seeker must clearly articulate that what the company product or services consist of and why it is unique, why it has some advantages. What is advantages? That is what you have to answer a couple of questions like, why do you, a customer or consumer will care about this product that you're building? Who are the competitors? What is exactly as a lacuna compared to a competition? How do you compete with them in terms of price, in terms of features, in terms of performance? And please, as I said earlier, try to quantify your attributes and as much as possible. Just don't put random value that yes, high, low, it is, my product is more sensitive. But you have to say that yes, it is 2x sensitive. It is 3x sensitive. So it would give a clear picture about the differentiation or the value proposition. Now, the next also component in the grant application is the feasibility. This is exactly as you discuss about any supporting evidence or results or points to highlight that what you are saying, the idea that you're proposing is actually feasible, is actually doable. For example, you can say that, okay, the parameters have been optimized. We have done these lab work. It is exactly, we are getting very good positive results. We have a very strong team who has the expertise to execute the work. We have done the ethical clearance. We have spoken to so many hospitals. We have spoken to so many institutes, and they are also very positive. They also want to join hands with us. We have spoken to doctors. They're looking for such kind of device or diagnostic pattern coming up. I'm just giving an example. So these things, if you write it, putting all these points together, then of course that will give a very strong point that what you're proposing is actually doable. It is feasible at the end. The money is not at a very high risk. But again, because any grant proposal, any grant money is again public money. So it should not go in waste. Then comes about your opportunity. Here you have to talk about the scalability potential of your innovation in terms of how large is the market. Okay, how large is the market segment that you're talking about? Who are your customers? But again, as I said, as an innovator, you need to be confident about your idea. But at the same time, you also need to be clear enough to understand what could be the risk that might come up in your product development journey. So you need to be very, very cognizant of the challenges or roadblocks that might come in your path, and be it the environmental roadblocks or be the technical roadblocks. But at the same time, you should, as an entrepreneur, you should have an alternative strategy to mitigate those challenges, those roadblocks. Because that is the reason in grant proposal section, you will see a risk factor. So in the risk factor, you say that, yes, this is the risk that we envisage. But again, we are sure about that if plan A doesn't work, we will try with the plan B. Then comes the business plan. So here the evaluators would like to get a sense of how the company plans to market itself, the cost of acquiring a customer, the long-term value of a customer. So how will you make money? What is the cost economics? Whether you are going for a business to business, whether you are going to business to customer or business to government, who are your customers? So all these things have to be projected in the business plan, because as I said, that whenever there's an innovation happening, whenever there's a product that has been developed, you will always want that the product should reach market, and there should be some revenue generating to keep the process ongoing. Like if you're setting up a manufacturing unit to upscale the product, then there should be a business plan to see that it is sustainable. It should not happen that you develop an idea and at the end of almost 2 years, 3 years, you realize that there is no one to buy it. You don't have a strong business plan to understand that how to bring back money to the system so that you develop more products. So I'll go in depth understanding about the market size and opportunity. So here you have to talk about the market overview, the customer segments. Again, I said competitive landscape, and how is your innovation has an edge over the similar products that are there in the market. So all these engrosses your market size and opportunity. So when you talk about the customer, you have to take a holistic understanding about, for example, if it is on a medical device or diagnostic, then your customer could be a central laboratory, it could be hospitals, it could be clinician, it could be the end users, could be the patient. And why, again, it is not about who are the end users. You have to also have a clear understanding like what benefit it would give to the end user, to that particular cohort. Like, for example, if you're developing something for a diagnostic kit or device for a clinician, then you can say, okay, that using this device, this sensor, this robotic, the turnaround time for the surgery will decrease. It is very small, portable, so the space is there. Expiry is okay. It is made of new materials, so the machine will last for a long time. Again, for patient, if it is end user, the patient, you can say that it would be highly available. It is ease of use. It has less of regulatory compliances, so it will be easy to reach the market. So all these things you have to take an example. Then market share, you have to, when you talk about the market share, you have to discuss, you have to evaluate, you have to understand the price, the customer base, how much money is needed for installation, how much money is needed for test, for validation, then whether sensitivity and specificity is there, what is the gap, what is the opportunity. All these you have to keep in mind when you think about your competitive landscape. And as I discussed that over, how your product is better than the similar products that are there in the market, you have to talk in terms of be it superior performance, be it in terms of portability, that can be used in remote settings, be in terms of scalability, be in terms of modular operation, be in terms of easy to use, ease of operation, or a longer shelf life, or better performance in terms of better sensitivity, better biodegradability, or the faster turnaround time of the result. It has a very low price point. So all these could be, you can think over like how your innovation would be, have advantage over the similar products. Then again, business model, revenue model, pricing, scalability, list all possible avenues, partnerships and activities that support scale up. So all these things you have to think about again when it comes to business pricing. Okay, generally people they ask a question like, and we are still working on the idea how to come up with the cost, right? Because see, as a grant provider, be it any government ministry, they would not want the exact number, exact value, the cost of a product that you would be selling, because they understand that it is still in the building stage. When you build it, when you refine it, when you validate it with customer, of course, you will have a better understanding about the market. But still, I think a cost economics breakdown needs to be done, like what should be the unit price, what should be the cost price, what should be the selling price, how much the reagent cost, whether I'll go for subscription model, or what it is a subscription model, how much should be the cost for a one-time user, but still for even if it is a subscription model, what is the profit that I'm getting? All these things you have to think about in terms of when you are doing the cost economics. Then comes your team. See, team is the most crucial point. Your team should be well-rounded with people from competing skill sets. Say, for example, if you are developing a device in the healthcare sector, then definitely you need to have clinicians in a team. If it is for a cancer, then you have to have a cancer biologist on your team. Then, of course, a biodesign engineer who can prototype your device. And it is always important that you also build from. When I started the presentation, I said that networking is a very important ingredient in the startup ecosystem. So you need to network with the hospitals. You need to have this partnership with the industry, the academia, the incubators, because they are the stakeholders who will help you in your product development journey, in your entrepreneurial journey. Hospitals, more the hospitals collaborate, more you will get patient samples, more you will get data size, which will improve your algorithm AI. So all these things you have to understand. If you have an industry partner, then again, a lot of funding opportunities comes up where as a team, as an academia, as a startup, as an industry, you can collectively apply. Right. So when you talk about your team, you have to see that you are maintaining a right balance in terms of getting not only onboarding the technical mentors, but also business mentors who can help you evaluating your business plan, who can help you in charting your business roadmap journey, who can help you in doing the cost economics. So objectives and milestones is very important. Again, you need to have an idea of your capital requirement and how you are going to put the new capital to use. So with this money, you have to say that these are the objectives, these are the work that I am going to do. Okay. And at the end of 12 months, or if the grant period is for 18 months or for 2 years, you have to say that, okay, today I am at stage A. And in this 12 months, in this 2 years time duration, I am going to do these experiments. And at the end, I'll be at this stage. So that have to be clearly spelled out, right? Because when somebody is putting the money, they will have this expectation that the innovator or the applicant should have a very clear understanding about the activity, the path, about the milestones and the deliverables in a monthly wise or in a very quarterly manner. Then again, capital roadmap, you have to be very sure about what is your revenue generation if you are asking for a late stage grant. Then what is your cash flow with this money that you are taking up? How are you planning to raise fund? how would, if it is a grant, how you're utilizing the fund, what is your contingency plan and company roadmap for the next 3 years. All these things you have to think about. So in summary, will give you very clear understanding about keeping all the information in one place in terms of key partners, in terms of what are the activities, the value proposition, the channels, revenue streams, the key resources, and the cost economics. Now, I've seen many times that people, they ask like, what is exactly they look for in the proposal? Are there anything like that they have to fund only 10 projects or they have 50 projects? I said that nothing like that. Most of the time I've seen that the limit is never there. It is all depends on how good your proposal is. And there are a couple of questions that the evaluators have to seek an answer in your grant application, and they have to score your application. And if it is good, then of course, there is a lot of opportunities in this field, I would say. So before submission of your proposal as an applicant, also I would suggest that please ask yourself these questions: that does it address a key gap? Does it address a problem statement? Does it has a better solution than the existing products that are in the market? Has the solution been validated? Whether there is a opportunity, whether there are opportunity in terms of sustainability, in terms of scaling up, whether you have the right team to execute it, whether you have done the need identification survey. So once you yourself as an evaluator ask the questions and you score yourself, then, and you see that yes, you are confident, then only you should submit your application. That's how it should be. So best practices: understand the ask and proposal and the prerequisite. Sometimes I've seen that people submit the same application through different ministries, so different grant application. That doesn't happen. Remember, whenever there's a call for application, there is a particular mandate or there's a particular requirement that they look for. If the special call for tuberculosis, you cannot put a proposal on cancer, right? You have to have an idea, should be aligned with the tuberculosis sector. So similarly, understand what is the ask. For example, if I give you an example of biotechnology ignition grant, it doesn't support your R&D basic projects, basic R&D exploratory or 5 years, 10 years project doesn't support. So it basically supports projects that has an innovation component and has a commercialization potential. So if you are completely a project proposal is R&D, then you should not submit to BIRAC. Rather, you should submit to other schemes like the DBT-DST scheme. Then again, you have to study the application format and see what is your ask money, whether the ask money is justified or not. Develop a plan and timeline for proposal development. It should not happen at the end of the day, end of the call, you're getting that, okay, tomorrow is my call proposal submission deadline. Let me start filling the application, because in that short span of time, you will miss out very important points that will could have been the advantage of your application. So take time, write the proposal very logically, clearly, with a budget which is strongly justified. It should not be over ambitious, or it should not be also less as per the requirement, because that shows that you are also not clear about your requirement. Fill out the forms completely, and again, before deadline. You should not cross the deadline, because today all the applications are online in the portal. So if you are missing the deadline, then you cannot submit the application in the hard copy. But if there is a hard copy and an online submission requirement, then you have to do. So read your proposal guidelines, call for guidelines, and then prepare your proposal accordingly. Now, if I talk about the evaluation criteria, you see there are different percentage of marks, percentage of scores for each of the criteria. For example, innovation is 15%, impact, how impactful your idea innovation is, whether there's a problem solution fit, how user friendly it is, whether it has a potential for scalability, whether it has a potential for business sustainability, how good is the team, whether how many regulatory hiccups it will have, or whether it has a scope for patent filing, what is the competitive edge over the similar products in there in the market. So these are basically the lens through which the evaluation lens through which your application will be evaluated. So as I said, again, you should have a very clear timeline and work plan that, okay, in the first 6 months, I'm going to do this, in the next 2 months, this would be the step. And at the end of the project duration, this is the money that I'll be coming. Now, this is just an example of the budget for the Biotechnology Ignition Grant, which BIRAC supports for ideation to proof of concept. Here, as you say, that there is a cap for each of the head. And similarly, for every grant, there is a particular budget requirement. Like some did not give money for buying equipment, some they give money for buying equipment. So that you have to see. Now, once a proposal is done and you are passed through the online review process or you pass through the evaluation criteria, the next question, the next step comes here, you have to pitch. So you should know like what to pitch, what you should pitch, what you shouldn't pitch. If you ask me one word, I would say that smart. You have to pitch it smartly. Smart is the only way. So S stands for, as I said, it should be specific. You need to be very specific about exactly what is the problem area that you are targeting about. It should be measurable. Your solution, the advantages, the attributes that you are saying should be quantifiable, should be measurable. It should be attainable. If you say something which will take 3 years and you say that I'll be doing in 12 months, then of course it is not doable. You have to keeping the time period in mind, and the idea, the objective, the deliverables that you're proposing should be attainable. Should be relevant to the grant application or the call. If you write something on, so for example, METI, they ask for ICT component, for Prayas, for DBT, they look for innovative grant. So every ministry has their own mandate. So in that regard, your grant application should also be relevant to the grant proposal and also to the problem statement. Again, very time bound. You should see that the project is completed within the time span. Now, pitch tips, 7 minutes, because generally in this business grant writing, after your proposal is selected, they hardly give you 7 to 8 minutes to pitch your idea. Just imagine your 2 years of work. Somebody, an innovator, if they've invested 3 years, more than 5 years of the work, R&D work, how to summarize them in 7 and 8 minutes time, how to encapsulate them in this short span of time so that you also don't miss any important points. So I'll very briefly, I'll tell about that, how exactly what to pitch and the way you should pitch. First is logical framework. I have seen many times that when an applicant understands, okay, you have to make a presentation, you have a presentation round now. The moment they get this email or they get this information, they start making a presentation, start scribbling all the information. And then what comes out is a presentation which is very lengthy, which doesn't have that clear storyline, right? So to avoid that, you have to have a very strong logical framework in your mind. You have to see that what in each slide, what should be put it and how it should come in the form of storyline. Why is the problem that you are targeting is important problem? Again, the methodology, the approach, the team, the novelty, what is the deliverables? All these you have to first figure out in your mind and then in your presentation. Tell a compelling story. This is very important. Say the only 7 minutes you have to. All the experts will listen, and in a day, almost 20 or 25 presentations are being done. So, in a way, you have to say something which will instantly develop that bonding between the evaluators and the youth. Right? Because sometimes, we are very, very fascinated with the story, with the punchline. So the moment you tell something, a story, then the reviewers, that will catch the attention of the reviewers, and they will be very keen to understand that what is exactly this applicant is saying. So they will pay heed to your story, to your presentation, and also will remember you at the time of the scoring. So telling a compelling story is something I always say. And add a personal touch. You should always have this kind of essence that when somebody is hearing you, they can understand that how inspired you are, how dedicated you are to work on this idea because of the issue that has happened in your life. So some kind of human connection, as you say, should be built between the presenter and the evaluator. Speak slowly. It is should not happen that for the 7 minutes of time you are just going like a bullet train and say everything, but it doesn't make sense at the end of the presentation. That will act negative for you. So please speak slowly, speak clearly, define your interest to work on this project. Of course, you have to be confident that yes, your team is good enough, you have a wonderful idea, and it would be able to do it. And you don't have to say everything. People ask that how would I encapsulate everything in 7 to 8 minutes and I'll present. See, you have to, as I said, that it is not only about the ideas, it is about the logical arranging of the ideas and to the point, right? You have to jot down the most 10 important sentences or 10 important USPs, which will give weightage, will add weightage to your project proposal. And that is what you have to speak. You do not no need to speak about that today the plastic pollution is a major concern, so much government program. That don't waste your time in that. Rather talk about what is exactly you are doing. Come to your solution, come to your technology, come to your novelty factor. That will save time. So you have to be very, very precise and to the point. And as I said, that pick up 4 to 5 key points that will leave an impact in the reviewer's mind, your unique selling proposition, and try to complete in time bound. You should not happen that your time is over and you're still stuck in your methodology side and you don't give, I don't have time, and they'll just evaluate will say that you can just roll over the presentation. In that way, you are missing important points, which is the strength of your application. So try, practice, and try to complete in that time period that is given to you. Again, I have seen many applications, applicants have become very defensive, right? When the moment sometimes the reviewers are very, very upfront and they will ask you some quirky questions. So understand that how depth you are, how clear you are about your technology, how confident you are. So it should not happen the moment that you hear the question, you start defending or you jump upon, you start answering. And then, the reviewers say, very politely say that, please listen, let me complete my question and then you can take over. So that should not happen. That will show your aggression in a very negative way. So give ample time, allow the reviewers to ask the question. Once the question is completed, then of course you will be given time to answer it. So as I said that we have been talking about grant proposal, I talk about incubator, but I think it would not be complete, again, my story today, if I don't talk about the funding opportunity. So there are a lot of funding assistance for innovation, and these grant proposals that I'll be talking about, it is not only for individuals, for startups, for biotech companies, for societies, for universities, and they are at different levels, like from idea to proof of concept, to early stage validation, to scale up and pre-commercialization. So as I said, that funding is never a problem. There are various schemes of different funding bodies of Government of India for every stage of technology development and commercialization. But to understand that which idea, which funding scheme is best suited best suited for you, you need to first analyze what exactly is your need. Do you fall in which category? Like whether you need help funding for identifying the problem statement, or whether you need funding for getting access to equipment, access to incubator, a co-working space, or you need money for you develop the prototype, or you need money for market validation or patent filing or clinical trials, or you need support in terms of partnership, because there are a lot of grants which can be applied only in a partnership mode with the industries. And then whether it's investment funding, or you need funds for the product launch, or my favorite is all the above, that we need money for all this requirement. So very, very important as an innovator, as anybody who's applying for any grant proposal, you have to understand that what is your requirement. So say, for example, your first type is need for help in identifying the problem statement. This is a type where generally students or young researchers who want to pursue entrepreneurship as a serious career option, they really want to do something different. They want to think out of the box, but they need assistance from expert in terms of picking up the problem statement, in terms of somebody saying that, yes, this idea is good, you can go ahead, there is a market and it is doable. So such kind of support is what young innovators when they start their entrepreneurial journey is a requirement. So there are various programs which you can go ahead for this. For example, the BIRAC flagship program called the Social Innovation Immersion Program. This is very interesting, where a monthly fellowship of about 50,000 is provided to every SIP fellow. And it is again for 18 months. You don't need any kind of PhD or publication. The minimum criteria is just graduation and your interest, your mindset to take up entrepreneurship. That is what would be evaluated. Your idea would not be evaluated, because the scheme is basically to help you in idea identification, right? So that is what is given. So just imagine a graduate, if you have a good, if you want to really take up entrepreneurship, if you please reach out to us. The next SIP program will be open, and you can get a Kickstart grant of 5 lakhs. So if you see the structure, it is very interesting of the SIP fellow. For example, in the first 6 months, you will go to different field immersion. You'll have a lot of field immersion. You'll talk to industry. You'll talk to the rural communities, the social people, and then understand what is the problem statement. And then BIRAC with the experts will help you in picking up the best problem statement. Next 12 months, you have to work with the 5 lakhs of Kickstart grant to convert from your idea to product development. So there are a lot of students who have got this SIP fellowship and they're really doing good. They have developed some innovative products, and there's no more looking out of, looking back for them. Then comes one more funding fellowship program called the Nidhi scheme by the Department of Science and Technology, called the EIA fellowship. That is again for tier 1, 2. And this is where it encourages students to pursue entrepreneurship. Like the SIP Nidhi EIA fellow also gets the fellowship amount of 10,000, 30,000 per month. And again, as I said, the eligibility criteria is not PhD. You don't need to have a PhD degree or publication. You just, with your idea, with your interest, with a minimum graduation degree, you can apply for it. Similarly, METI scheme also tied the METI government of India. They have a scheme called the TIDE, and they have two schemes under it. The TIDE EIR, that is again the entrepreneurship in residence. This is basically for the young students or young researchers to jump into the entrepreneurial world. So where a funding lakhs of 4 lakhs is given. For grant, it is up to 7 lakhs for converting the POC to minimum viable product. And you see the trust area, it is very broad, be in terms of healthcare, edutech, agritech, fintech, environment, other emerging areas also. But again, it's the ICT component should be very strong. Who can apply? Any budding entrepreneurs who are at a very early prototype stage is what you can apply. Now coming to the Biotechnology Ignition Grant, which was launched almost in July 2012, long back. I think it's one of the most sought after grant for any life science innovator, where you get 50 lakhs for 18 months of time duration. And it is open for all. As an individual, you can apply with a simple graduation degree. Actually, you become eligible to apply for the big grant. You can form your team and apply. Even if you are a startup also, that is good. That as a biotech startup, you should apply. Call for proposal that opens twice a year. The next call will open on January 1st, and you have to submit the application online. The sector, the good part of BIG grant, it is sector agnostic. You can apply for any field of life science biotechnology, be it industrial biotechnology, be it healthcare, medical device, drugs, waste management, bioinformatics, or bioenergy. So any idea that has an innovation, that has a commercialization potential is what BIRAC support. BIRAC doesn't support projects that are basic exploratory research work, and where also you cannot utilize the money to pursue your own PhD research. As I said, that you can apply online. If you have any doubt, please write to me, namrata@kirinquay.in. I'm there to help you out. Evaluation criteria: proposals will be evaluated on the ability to meet the following criteria, like technical feasibility, novelty, potential impact, team credibility, clarity of to go-to-market strategy. How this big work? It works in a very, very wonderful, in a very unique fashion, that it is partnered with BIRAC to implement this program. So basically, an incubator, just like a TBI, as a big partner, will help you to refine the proposal, will help you to get the grant, and once the grant is received, will act as an interface between BIRAC and you. So basically, all your project proposal submission, your finance will happen through your big partner to the ministry. Selection process is very transparent. First round is once your application is filled, it goes to online reviewers. Every online reviewer have to score the presentation based on average score that comes up, and the cutoff score decided by BIRAC. The selected proposals, applications, they have to present in a TP, technical evaluation panel. That is again for 7 to 8 minutes of presentation, next 12 minutes for discussion. And again, all the TP panel members have to score. If your score is above the cutoff score decided by that, then you get a 50 lakhs of money. Performance so far has been snowballing. It's never looking back for us. Almost 112 startups have been supported. I think number is much more. This is not an updated slide, as I said. Job created, products commercialized, a lot of patents have been emanated, and you'll be very happy to see that almost 40 plus are women-led entrepreneurs who have received this big grant. So yes, women are no less when it comes to the science and technology. So because, as I said, that the startup is not only for the bigger cities like Hyderabad, Bangalore, or Delhi, it is also the Northeast is soon catching up, and that is why the BIRAC have started a special call for the big Northeast innovators. Almost 7 incubators have partnered to implement this program, and KTBI is a nodal center for it as a mentor incubator for all the Northeast region. Again, the first call was open in 2018. We got a very good response, and now big 21st call is open, big Northeast call, and October 15 is a deadline. So, and as I said that the Northeast innovators, they are no less. They are really working on some very innovative products, or trying to solve some very pressing challenges on the Northeast region, utilizing the Northeast bioresource ecosystem. So with this, we also launched a Northeast Launchpad, where it is born, where applicants are made through an accelerator program, where you are handheld, you are mentored to define your idea, to work upon your business plan, and also at the end you get a opportunity to interact with investors and get investment funding. Now, this was again at the ideation level. Coming to the proof of concept to prototyping level, there are schemes such as the Nidhi Prayas scheme. That is again, it's a scheme of Department of Science and Technology, where you get up to 10 lakhs of money for 12 months of duration, and it is basically for converting your idea to proof of concept, something which is tangible, has a tangible physical product. Sector is very broad. Any field of life science falls under the Nidhi Prayas scheme. Similarly, TIDE is basically from the MeitY government. It has grant in aid of 7 lakhs for duration of 12 months. Along with that, you get support from IP, you get support from regulatory for your business development. And as I said, the ICT component is what the TIE grant looks for, the MeitY government. Then comes your PACE program. So this is basically the BIRAC have special programs for Wakad innovators who doesn't want to start their own startup, but still have a very innovative idea. I think your PACE would be the right platform. It's promoting academic research conversion to enterprise. So this is again has two components. The AIR scheme. This is just like the BIRAC big scheme. You can apply for 50 lakhs. The CRS scheme is with the industry partner. You can apply. SIBRI, BIP, these are all the early stage commercialization grant, where up to 50 lakhs, it is a 100% grant from BIRAC. Okay, if it is more than 50 lakhs, then BIRAC would give the 50 lakhs, and the rest of the 50 lakhs would be covered by the company, and the 50% by the industry. Similarly, BIP is again the early stage commercialization grant. If your technology level is a little bit high, then along with the industry, you can apply for it. Then you have a lot of Sitare scheme. This is basically for the young students to think out of the box, to augment their creative understanding. So Sitare, GYTI, Gandhian Technology Innovation Hub, this is also, again, this is basically for students, a master's, a PhD was pursuing, and you can get a funding support of 15 lakhs. Then this is for Sitare appreciation grant for students who are still pursuing their graduation. They still can apply and get a 1 lakh grant award. Then there are a lot of seed funding schemes of different ministries that is basically investment funding for bridging the gap for moving forward from a proof of concept to early validation to, there are a lot of other things that need to be done basically for regulatory compliance, some of these, and that for that you can take the seed support. Similarly, there's a product commercialization fund, which is basically from the BIRAC side. When you develop the product, BIRAC again gives you a lot of support in terms of there's no cap for it to launch your product and to upscale it so that you can fulfill the requirement of your clients. Now, this is a very unique scheme that will come up with the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. This is basically for the reserved category, and you can get a support of 30 lakhs for 3 years. So today, I think it has been a very, very holistic discussion that we had today regarding what is a TBI, what is the various components of a grant proposal, what exactly the evaluators look for in a business grant proposal, how they evaluate, how you should, as an applicant, should pitch your idea, and of course the various grant proposals, the calls, the schemes that you can apply for to get support from Government of India. I think I've completed my presentation. This is my email ID. I'm just putting my email ID in the chat box also. Any questions, I'll be happy to take over. And so students, as I said, lot of opportunities, lot of schemes are there for young innovators. All that you need is your interest to do something out of the box. Generally, pharmacy graduates or biotech people, we always complain that we don't have much of jobs, right? But that is not the case. As a graduate also, you can apply to these schemes with your supervisor and you avail these opportunities. With that, I'll just end here, and any questions, I'll be happy to take over. Am I audible?
Yes, madam. Yes, madam. Rajaram.
Is there any questions from the students?
No, ma'am. No questions. No questions from the students, ma'am.
I'm just dropping my email ID here. You can just contact me if there is a requirement. I'll be happy to handle them. Any support required, please let me know. I'm always there to promote young innovators, faculties to think something, take up this innovation pathway.
Okay, 2 minutes.
So if there are no questions, I think
no questions now. Principal will give vote of thanks.
can stop here.
Okay. First, I would like to thank Dr. Rajaram for organizing this webinar with an excellent speaker, Dr. Namrata Mishra, Madam, Head Bioinnovative Technology Business Incubator, Bhubaneswar is one of the prestigious institutions. And on behalf of Vignan Pharmacy College, we are very thankful to you, Madam, for giving an excellent session to all our faculty and students. And by seeing all we have gone through your webinar, it's very excellent. And I would like to invite you to our college and university, Vignan University, on behalf of our college is affiliated to JNTU Kakinada. And we are very proud of your session. And if any time is available, please let us know. And you have to visit our Vignan University as well as our pharmacy college, which is located at Vadlamudi, Guntur. I'm very proud of you for getting Young Scientist Award for 2020 by the government of Odisha. And also you have narrated all the programs exclusively with for the students, and graduate students, and even postgraduate students. And it is very helpful. And on behalf of Vignan Pharmacy College, we are very thankful to you for making a grand presentation and a wonderful seminar and sparing your valuable time with us. And we are very happy to share this knowledge to all our faculty members, as well as the budding students who are coming from the pharmacy background and all our students. So thank you very much, Madam. And if any grants we applied, or definitely we have any programs in faculty development or STTP or any this BRAC innovation related programs, you are invited to our campus. And thank you very much. And I thank Dr. Rajaram for making this program grand success. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm really thankful to the leadership of Vignan Pharmacy College to give me this opportunity. Again, thank you so much, Professor Srinivasa and Dr. Rajaraman for this opportunity. It was a wonderful session. I'll be happy to come to Vignan Pharmacy College and interact with all the faculties and students. I think COVID situation has been better, and so no much of travel restrictions. I think I'll be happy to be there. I've never been to Vignan University, so certainly thank you for the invitation and look forward to be there. And any requirement, anything that is needed, I'm always there as an institute, as a
once again, ma'am, for sparing your valuable time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Madam. Thank you very much.
So I'm logging off from the meeting now.
Okay, Madam. Thank you.